Wow, big news today. It's come out that David Luiz is engineering a move to Arsenal as we speak. Now, reports first came out from France, and they originally reported that Luiz refused to turn up for training to engineer this move to Arsenal. Now, as the day did go on, reports came out to state that Luiz did attend training, however, he did train away from the first team. Now, this is why we do need to be patient and diligent whenever it comes to news like this, because you do get the real reason why if you just wait a tiny bit. However, the fact that Luiz is moving to Arsenal and wants to go is pretty crazy. And it gets you thinking, how did we end up like this? What's happened? And is Frank Lampard making the right decision? And is Frank Lampard making the right decision? There are a lot of things I'm going to be talking about in today's video. However, before I get into anything, today's video is brought to you by the OneFootball app. Download the OneFootball app now to stay up to date to all the latest news happening before the transfer window ends. If you guys want this, you'll find it in the link in the description below. Getting straight back into things, and honestly, I'm still in disbelief. I still can't understand what's happened. However, reading reports from Matt Law and finding out information myself, it starts to paint a picture. And the first thing we need to address and talk about is that Lampard didn't see any future plans for David Luiz. Now, that's a big call. That's a big statement. David Luiz has been one of the highest profile players to come out in support for the new direction this club's taken. It seemed like he was fully on board. It seemed like the young players really loved him as well. It seemed like the good vibes were here. However, and I say this all the time, but football is a ruthless industry. A manager has to make tough decisions. It happens sometimes. Is Frank Lampard bad for it? No. But I get it. And Frank Lampard has always been committed to youth. Now for me, I always thought Luiz was going to leave. I mean, we all knew that. I didn't realise it was going to happen this soon. However, when we hired Frank Lampard, we hired into this new way the club wants to grow. And the new direction this club is taking is to focus on the younger players, to get them adjusted to the first team, and to make sure these guys grow and develop at the club. But to do that, sometimes sacrifices need to be made. And when you consider that we have David Luiz, Rudiger, Christensen and Zuma, these are 4 defenders that could get into most teams in Europe. And when you realise that Zuma and Christensen are young, you understand that, you realise that for these guys to develop and grow, because we need them, because we're building towards the future, sacrifices like Luiz need to be made. Now, of course, it's tough for me to accept, but one thing I always stress every single time, I care more about the future of the club. I care more about the direction. I want to see us competing and becoming a dynasty club. That's my ambitions, that's my goals. And I understand that big steps like this need to be made. Breaking news, you guys, and to be honest, I'm not too happy about the news I'm about to break. Now, it's come out that Luiz and Lampard have had a falling out. Now, I tried to find out some information in regards to Luiz and Lampard's relationship when both players were at the club before, and I was told that Luiz and Lampard have never really got along. That's not me implying they're enemies or they hate each other, they just don't get along. I've been told that after the game against RB Salzburg, Lampard and Luiz did have a falling out. From what I've been told, it seems that Lampard didn't want to be undermined by David Luiz. We don't know the key details or the key specifics about what was said to each other than the story of what happened. So that's it, you guys. So that's that, you guys. That's the real reason why Luiz is leaving the club. Now, when it comes to the information I've heard, I've been told that David Luiz was told by Frank Lampard that he would be the last guy in the pecking order. Guys like Rudiger, Zuma and Christensen would be taking priority. And Lampard does want Kurt Zuma to be a staple in the first team. Now, I'm hearing that Kurt Zuma was entertaining a potential move to Everton because he wasn't quite too sure whether he was going to get consistent game time. Lampard told him that yes, he's in his plans, he has big hopes for him, and it seems like to give Zuma that guarantee, as well as giving the guarantee to the young defenders that they are going to get the opportunities to grow, because Lampard sees how these guys can develop and how they can be in the future. And to do this, Lampard needed to make the big call, and I have to say, even though I don't like it because I guess you guys already know Luiz is one of my favourite players, and I think he's one of the most underrated players as well. I care more about the future. It's one thing on this YouTube channel which I've constantly been vouching for and talking about. I understand, I get it, Luiz needs to go, and you know, Luiz going to Arsenal, I hold no grudges against him, and I'm hoping that the fan base isn't going to be too harsh towards him. You know, this industry is ruthless. You know, decisions like this do need to be made. David Luiz has his own life. I mean, he's got his business here, he's got his family here. The season's about to start, the window's about to end. When you just find out that, you know, you're not really in the first team plans and you want to play consistently, he has every right to do that. And it just happens to be that Arsenal need a defender. They're in the market, and I don't see it being an issue. I'm sorry. I don't see the issue behind it. You know, you need to realise too, I know some people are saying, oh, but Nini, the club gave Luiz a 2-year extension. So that 2-year extension means we can command more money for his transfer, especially when it's like 24 hours away before the window ends. Then yeah, we're going to get some decent money for David Luiz. And I think at the end of the day, it's fair. It's a fair deal. Now, of course, it sucks that he may be going to Arsenal. However, I don't think Luiz will be there forever. He's always spoken about future plans of going back to Benfica. So, you know, Luiz wants to play. He's got his own ambitions. I mean, he's a player that's always been very ambitious and always strives to do the very best. You can see it when he plays. You can see it in how he expects the best from others around him as well. You have to understand the player and his mentality, and it's only fair that he wants to progress his career and keep playing. If any of us were hearing the same things about, you know, we're not going to be playing any games in a season, I'm sure all of us playing at this level may consider our future very seriously and look to engineer a move. Now, it's annoying, but it's life, and, you know, I do want to talk about the tactical implications, because for me, and it's my opinion, I thought that David Luiz was our best defender. There's so many tactical implications behind why he's so important as well. I mean, his passing ability. His passing is that good that it benefits the team. And I know that people constantly dismiss this, but as I said, we're not in the 90s anymore. You know, when it comes to creating attacks, it starts from the back. And when you have one of the best ball-playing defenders in the world at the back, where he helps you play out, he helps start moves, organise the defence and everything, this is a massive blow. And we saw in that game against Borussia Mönchengladbach what the team could be like without David Luiz, because it seems like Christensen and Zuma are going to have to play a lot of games to really build a potential relationship and partnership, and that's going to take time. So Luiz's departure at this time may not be the best move, but still, you know, that's me saying it from a fan perspective. From like a human perspective, I understand the deal, and you know, it is the right thing to do. It's going to pain me though, because I can imagine the types of passes that Luiz will be playing for guys like Aubameyang, guys like Lacazette, and guys like Nicolas Pepe. I mean, imagine the type of opportunities that Luiz can create for a front three that good. And yeah, you know what? I think I may do a video on David Luiz, just talking about why he's so underrated, because honestly, I feel as if people just didn't really respect the player enough. It's a shame. I can imagine that he's going to get tons of abuse now because fans never liked him. And I think it's kind of sad because, you know, I saw Luiz, when he played for us, he played with everything. He played for the shirt. He loved the club. You could see that. I'm sure he's not happy. But again, he cares more about his playing career, which he has every right to do. Football is a very short career. I feel that he's going to be a big loss, because when we're introducing so many young players into the first team now, we're really hoping his like leadership was really going to be crucial in helping the team, especially when times do get hard during a season. Respected by the players, liked by a lot of them as well. He is going to be missed. You know, we're going to miss his antics on social media. We're going to miss his fun personality. We're going to miss his good humor. I mean, it is going to be sad. But most importantly, we're going to miss a guy who was masterful on the ball, one of the best passes I've seen. I thought that when he came back to us in his second spell, defensively was on another level compared to when he first signed for us. I remember big games like against Man City, Liverpool, Man United. I mean, so many big games he stepped up in and played a big part. I think his best game I've seen from him was that 2-0 win over Man City at home last season is by far his best performance I've seen. The goal encapsulated everything. But I think the thing I'll miss the most is just how fun he was to watch. I mean, the guy was incredibly skillful. The guy's passing range was a thing of beauty most times. His composure on the ball. I've never seen a defender who was so comfortable in possession. I just love watching him play because you can see all the little nuances behind the things he does. Like, for example, the way he passes the ball under pressure. He hits it with different weight. He hits like the top of the ball to give it like a certain bouncy spin. And for me, I'm always going to love players who are technicians. You know, players who have mastered the craft in their game because they make the game so effortless. And for me, they bring a new sense of enjoyment. Still though, as Lampard himself said, he only wants players that want to be here. If David Luiz doesn't want to be here, we move on. Because Chelsea comes first. This football club is the most important thing. It's always going to come above any player whatsoever. And I trust in Frank Lampard. I believe in Frank Lampard. It's a big call, a brave call, but I think it's going to pay off. And I understand, and I'm sure deep down, David Luiz understands himself. And on that note, you guys, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. I mean, I'm still in disbelief. I'm hoping that with my take on things, people may see it from a different perspective. You know, when I talk about football, you guys, you know, I'm not a tribalist. You know, not everything is black and white. We have to look into the grey, understand it, understand the context behind things because, you know, this game is going to continue. It's not going to be the first time that we'll have a player leaving on these terms. It's going to happen in the future. I mean, we've seen it happen before. This isn't new. And I just think that, you know, as fans, we need to grow and learn from these experiences and not always fall into the same emotional traps. But still, you guys, I want to read your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. You know, I really want to read them. It's going to be interesting to see what you guys are saying. And I'm going to wrap things up, you guys. Thank you for watching. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. See you guys later.